Hello and welcome back for another episode of Toybox Tutorials. I'm Professor Toybox. I've got Sorcerer's Apprentice Mickey with me, and we're back in my Fantasia Toybox where we're working on a side quest for Mickey. Once again, the story for this side quest is that while the magician is sleeping in the castle over there and Mickey's been dealing with the brooms he created in town, the demon Chernabog raided the castle, stole one of the magician's scrolls, and carried it back up here to his fortress on Bald Mountain. And Mickey's objective is to travel up here and recover the scroll. We have the scroll set up down there on that platform, and we've hooked up some lightning and spark effects to show that Chernabog is using his power, perhaps to try to break a protective spell that the magician placed on it. And if Mickey tries to get the scroll, the lightning and spark effects will kill him. In order to stop those effects and safely recover that scroll, Mickey's going to have to battle Chernabog and defeat him. And so that's what we're going to work on today. We're going to start working on this battle. And as we open the drawers, by way of reminder, what we have for Chernabog in Disney Infinity is just a townsperson in a demon costume. He doesn't really look very threatening, and because he isn't an enemy, we can't even have a proper battle with him. He won't fight back in any meaningful or challenging way, so we need to be creative to make this a fun and interesting battle. So the first thing we're going to do is add Chernabog to the top of the tower, and we're going to use a friend generator for that because, as I said, he's a townsperson and not an enemy. So I'm going to come down here to the Creativitoys drawer, and we're going to drop a locator up here on the middle of this tower. Yeah, about right. Yeah, let's put him right there. And I want to make sure that that little dot is facing in the right direction, facing towards us. And it is. So that way he's facing the scroll that he's working on. And then we'll put down a friend generator. So we'll come back over here and grab that. Fortunately, we don't have to scroll too far. And I'm going to set that down over here. Whoop. And for the friend generator, we're going to do a new locator connection and connect to the locator that we put up here. And we'll set a couple of quick properties on this. So for the behavior, what I want to do is have this guy look like he's working on this block. And I thought, after I experimented with this a little bit, that the laugh behavior would be best, because it looks like he's enjoying himself working on this scroll. So we'll do that for him initially. And then in order to put Chernabog up there, we'll connect him up to our mission giver up here. So when we accept the mission, not only does that start the lightning and all of those effects, but that'll also generate Chernabog. So on a new logic connection on our text displayer, when the text proposal is accepted, we'll come over here to Bald Mountain, to our friend generator. And we find him down in the toy box drawer, and we're looking for Chernabog. Of course, he's probably going to be near the bottom. Oh, there we go. About halfway down. Okay, so that will add Chernabog to the tower. And in order to kind of test this out a little bit, we're going to need to use this button to reset everything. And right now I'm resetting the mission giver, but I haven't reset anything up here just yet. So we're going to need to reset the friend generator. So we'll use this to remove Chernabog, because we're going to be testing this several times. And I also want to stop those visual effects. So the two effects generators, we'll go ahead and turn those off as well. New logic connection when pressed. And we'll get to our topic for today's lesson in just a moment, but Kind of have to put some groundwork in place before we can get to that. Oh, I already have those turned off. Ah, good. Nice. Okay, so we cancel out of that. So now we'll come over here and hit that button, which will reset our mission giver. And reactivate him up there. And then as we come up here and interact with the mission giver, that will put Chernabog into the toy box. And we'll accept his mission. And now the lightning effects resume. And we should see Chernabog up on top of the tower. And there he is. So he's up here having a grand old time. Now, there's nothing to prevent Mickey from climbing up the tower and picking this guy up and drop kicking him off the edge of the toy box. But that would be too easy. So in order to make this more challenging, I want Chernabog to be untouchable initially. And Mickey is going to have to do something first before he can even get to Chernabog. And so for that, we're going to need another toy. It's a scalable barrier block, and that's our topic for today's lesson. So if we come down to the platforming toys drawer, the scalable barrier block is a rectangular area that looks similar to a trigger area, except it's blue instead of yellow, and it's solid. And so we can come over here, for example, and put down this block to prevent the user from tossing Chernabog off the edge of the toy box. So I could put this over here, for example, and just like a trigger area, you see that there's little handles here on the side for resizing it. So if we select that, we can move up and down with this. We can scroll across, and we can make this barrier here that the player can't kick Chernabog through. So the worst that would happen was that he would drop down to the ground. And probably should put another one over on this side. And I think I'll rotate it so that that lower one is in that corner. And then all I have to do is adjust this one. So then we can raise this up and put this block in here on this side as well. So now Mickey can get up here, and you could pick him up and toss him, but that's still easy. He shouldn't be able to get to Chernabog that quickly. So what I'd like to do is be able to put down a barrier block over top of Chernabog. Like this. And now there he's inside of that block. He's protected. And now if we try to get to him, you'll see Mickey's running into a barrier. And there's kind of a visual effect on that that gives you some indication that it's there. And that's a good thing. The scalable barrier block, though, does have some properties. And so if we come over here and look at this, well, let's look at one of these. It's a little easier to select. So if we open the logic menu for that, you'll notice there is a property, and we can select that. And there's a parameter here for the collision effect. And if you wanted, you could turn that off. And then the block is completely invisible. And that's probably a good thing to do on these barriers out here. But I'm going to leave that effect on around Chernabog because I think that's useful. And so if we come down here and we come over this way, you'll notice there's no bubble effect or any kind of effect that indicates that Mickey's running into it. He just can't go off the edge of this cliff. And so that's a good thing. So that barrier up there that's protecting Chernabog will kind of act like a protective energy barrier energy barrier around him, and Mickey can't penetrate it, of course. The problem is that once we place that block the way we've placed it, it's now there, and there's no way to get rid of it. You'll notice there was no property for turning it on or off. There's no logic connections for this that you can use to activate or deactivate it like there is for a trigger area. The only way to remove it right now is if we come up here, and whoops, I didn't want to end up there. I wanted to be on top of the tower. There we are. So the only way to remove it right now is with the magic wand. So if I open the drawer and select the magic wand, now that barrier is visible, and I could use the magic wand to remove that, but I don't really want my players to have that wand and use it, because they can wreak havoc with it by deleting other stuff they shouldn't be deleting. So we need a way to dynamically add and remove this barrier block as needed. Fortunately, there's a way to do that, and we'll talk about that next time. Until then, I want to thank you for watching today. Be sure to sign up on my blog or subscribe to my channel so you don't miss the next episode. For now, Mickey and I are signing off, and we'll see you next time.